Jeffrey Katzenberg hated Disney animation. He had worked so hard to be the best, only to not get the role that was best for him. Hi, welcome to Christian Time. Today we're talking about how insane the making of Shrek was, so grab some toilet paper and let's roll. A quick backstory before getting into Shrek. I'm not saying that Katzenberg should have been president at Disney. In fact, he had a lot of haters that were glad he wasn't. But he felt tricked that he wasn't allowed to become president.
You tricked me.
So in 1994, Katzenberg left Disney and started his own company with Steven Spielberg and David Geffen. It was called DreamWorks. Now, DreamWorks originally had a hard time finding its footing. Not all of the movies they made were that good, but once DreamWorks found its place, they really started giving Disney animations a run for their money. One of the movies the team wanted to make was an adaptation of the book Shrek in 1990 by William Steig. Now, the book is really fun, and you'd think that making the movie was fun too. But no! The lead actor died, there were multiple rewrites, and if an animator messed up on The Prince of Egypt, which was the real moneymaker, they got Shrek'd, which is when you got sent down to work on Shrek. Up front, after Spielberg had bought the rights to the movie, he wanted to make it a traditionally 2D animated film, like a Disney movie. He wanted Bill Murray to be Shrek and Steve Martin to be Donkey. Of course, that never panned out. So instead, they got Chris Farley to play Shrek, Eddie Murphy as Donkey, and Janine Garofalo as Princess Fiona. They decided to go for stop motion, just like Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. With this in mind, they spent 18 months on an animatic, and then they showed it to the studio executives. And they hated it.
Well, this sucks.
And they were sent right back to the drawing board. Kelly Asbury, the co-director, did not want to do a page 1 rewrite, and he said, "I'm leaving," to go work on another project. Now we meet two new characters, Andrew Adamson and Vicky Jensen. They were now co-directing Shrek. But Andrew hated it. He did not want to be part of a cartoon movie. He wanted to make a live action film. But he was contractually obligated to stay at the studio and work on whatever they wanted him to work on. So he asked to be fired, and they wouldn't fire him. So, frustrated, he and Vicky started to work on a new script. But then tragedy struck. Chris Farley, the voice of Shrek, died of a drug overdose. So the directors decided to hire a voice actor to mimic Chris's voice. But then they decided that's kind of messed up, so they hired someone else. This time they hired Mike Myers, who was also on Saturday Night Live like Chris was. And also Princess Fiona was recast for Cameron Diaz. Since they had to recast the lines, they also did another rewrite of the script. This time they wanted to make the script funnier, geared more towards Mike Myers, and make fun of traditional fairy tales. And you know who makes traditional fairy tales? Disney. Katzenberg really liked this, and the project was greenlit for the animation to start. After they did all the animation, Mike Myers wanted to redo his lines because he didn't think he captured Shrek authentically. He wanted to give Shrek a Scottish accent. I shouldn't have done that. This time, Mike wanted to give him a Scottish accent. So Katzenberg threw out the work they did on Shrek, approximately $4 million worth, and redid the animation. Well, I mean, he didn't redo the animation, his animators redid it. People say that Lord Farquaad looks like Michael Eisner, the man that made Katzenberg want to leave Disney. I mean, of course they deny it, but I'll show him on screen right now for you to decide.
Some of you may die.
According to Katzenberg, this was the 4th ever completely CGI film. Up until then, you didn't have realistic looking humans. Animators had to create an incredibly difficult new rig for animating faces. Also, hair was incredibly difficult to animate. Andrew Adamson knew that he did not want this cartoon to look like a cartoon. He wanted it to kind of look like the type of movies he wanted to make. So a lot of rules of animation were broken in this movie. And it's kind of fun. After the film was completed, the soundtrack was added. My favorite is All Star, but let me know yours in the comments below. A bunch of other people have covered how insane the marketing for Shrek was, so I won't go too deep into it in this video. I'm just going to show on screen an image of ogre-filled Twinkies and move on. Despite all of this, Jeffrey Katzenberg and his team weren't sure that audiences would get the type of jokes they were making. And DreamWorks was in quite a bit of debt. They needed Shrek to pull through. Jeffrey had high hopes that this would show, once and for all, just how good of a producer he was. So the first showing took place. On a budget of $60 million, Shrek made $500 million. The only films to beat it that year were Philosopher's Stone, Fellowship of the Ring, and Monsters, Inc. Most importantly, Shrek made a ton of money on DVD and VHS sales. Anyway, Andrew Adamson eventually came back to work on Shrek 2, but don't worry, he worked on his own live-action movie, Chronicles of Narnia. And while many other aspects of DreamWorks have shut down, DreamWorks animation is still growing strong, and Shrek 5 is supposed to be releasing very soon. The creation of Shrek may be crazy, but the making of Snow White is even more crazy. Click here on the screen to see more, and I'll see you next time.